All right, Schlockmeister fans, we're gonna watch something here called Cellar Dweller. Let's check it out. Reanimator's Jeffrey Combs. He's a cartoonist named Colin Childress. And something he just drew came to life. And he draws a cartoon called Cellar Dweller. And whatever he drew came to life and killed. And he's probably next. I think I called that one. Colin then burns it. Burns everything. Maybe that'll fix the problem. All right, then we fast forward 30 years. A new cartoonist named Whitney Taylor is coming to this institute. It's some sort of like art place where people with various talents in various different arts can come be and practice. Mrs. Briggs is in charge of the house. That's Yvonne DiCarlo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I frighten you?
Yes, you scared me half to death. You must be Mrs. Briggs.
That's right.
That's my dream. As you can see, the first few sketches are just copies of Childress's work.
She wants to reinvigorate or redo Cellar Dweller. She's a big fan.
Mrs. Briggs, I want to create a whole new comic book in the tradition of Cellar Dweller.
But don't even think about going downstairs where Childress was.
Murder of an innocent young woman, a promising musician with her entire career ahead of her. Oh, don't even think about going down there. That door is off limits.
I don't know if there's a flashback or what, but we get some sort of image of, I believe that's Jeffrey Combs and what may have happened. I don't know.
Temple.
So there's all kinds of different performance art here at this place.
All right, give me the panties and LeBron gets it.
Including this. It's not real. He's just acting.
That gun isn't even loaded.
Observant. Very. I want to thank you all very much. I can continue with my scene now. You've been very, very helpful.
Now, according to the police,
Of course, Whitney ignores Mrs. Briggs and goes to the basement.
and then set himself on fire.
And this guy's your idol?
I don't believe he did that.
Then what happened, Schrock?
And here,
Whitney wants to work down there.
talent, you make up for in nerve.
Mrs. Briggs, be reasonable. Nobody is using the cellar right now. It's just collecting dust. Look, we can both benefit if I work down there.
She gets her way. And that's what she drew. And oh my, what she draws comes to life too. Well, she's got some competition there, including this lady who doesn't like her and puts cameras up in rooms to spy on her. Let's see what she's doing, what she's working on. And then she makes her own video.
Whitney Taylor is a plagiarist, as this videotape so clearly demonstrates. She cloistered herself in the cellar and stole another artist's work.
But guess what? Unbeknownst to Whitney, what she's drawn came to life and is going to attack the other chick. She draws the creature eating, and the creature eats. We're treated to some unique performance art here. Quite unique, but I'm not sure if it's good. This guy finds that tape. Sees what happened to her, and then we see what's about to happen to him.
Amanda stole my work from the cellar, but how did she get a hold of my portfolio?
I'm sure I don't know.
Bullshit. You gave it to her. Now, both of you had it in for me from the moment I got here. Now, what the hell is going on and where is she?
I assure you, I don't know where Amanda is.
What are you talking about?
Your latest masterpiece. It's very intense.
I didn't draw this.
Don't be embarrassed with.
We get treated to a shower scene.
Somebody there?
Wow.
Philip, the curse is real.
What curse? What are you saying?
It threatens anybody who dares to give the beast form. Don't you see? I drew it. I gave it life, and now Amanda is gone, and Norman is gone.
Wait a
Our shower lady becomes the next victim, although we don't see it, although we see some of the pictures, the drawings. Not sure what the hell that's all about, but she's knocked out.
We've got to do something.
Slow down, Whitney. You're not making any sense. Look, I have searched high and low for all of them. They'll be back.
Haven't you been listening to me?
I certainly have. Comic books and monsters and... Ooh. I've been going through a lot of changes lately.
I'm not sure what she's zapping him with here, but it makes him disappear. Oh, I believe it was some whiteout. That's exactly what it was. So she devises a plan. Let's white out everything. And for the moment, anyway, problem solved.
talking about something.
But then she draws Philip
About a real kiss.
and realizes that, yeah, if she draws the people back, they're going to come back. And the monster is drawn tied up. Time to bring back everybody. And then somehow there was an accident or something and she ended up burning everything. Oops. Everybody burns a fiery death. Suddenly our creature is back. And that's how our film ends. All right, let's talk about Cellar Dweller. I had this movie on a VHS tape. I think I had it on the same tape with a movie called... No, I didn't have it on the same tape with The Cellar. Anyway, who cares? Anyway, Cellar Dweller came out in 1987, I believe. Stars Yvonne DiCarlo, Deborah Ferrantino, I think is the main actress's name. A little bit of Jeffrey Combs in the beginning of this movie. It was more of like a cameo. He was only in for like the first 5 minutes or so. But it starts out with Jeffrey Combs. He's a cartoonist. He's drawing this cartoon called Cellar Dweller. And he's... It's a horror thing, and turns out that what he's drawing comes to life. This monster comes to life, kills this woman there, and then presumably kills him. But the story goes that he killed this woman with an axe or something, and then he burned himself up and died. And this building or this house that he was doing this in is like this art house where people can come and practice their various arts. It doesn't matter if it's painting, acting, whatever, the performance art. There's just some weird stuff, just all kinds of weird art stuff that goes on in this house. Fast forward 30 years later, this girl named Whitney arrives. She's a big fan of Cellar Dweller and wants to work in the same house where Jeffrey Combs had worked years earlier. And Yvonne DiCarlo runs the house. And, first thing she wants to do first thing she's told is you can't go into the basement. Off limits, that's where the events of 30 years earlier happened. But she eventually convinces Mrs. Briggs to let her work down there. And then she can get the full essence of everything Cellar Dweller. She basically wants to create a new Cellar Dweller or a new cartoon or comic book in the style of Cellar Dweller. So that's why she's there. Now, it turns out she starts drawing things, monsters, and this monster, of course, comes to life. I don't know if it's this house that's doing this or what, but whatever she draws comes to life. And this monster comes alive and starts killing off people in the house. Eventually, she kind of figures out what's happening, and she tells Mrs. Briggs about it. Mrs. Briggs thinks she's nuts, that sort of thing. And then Mrs. Briggs says, I've gone through a lot of changes recently, and then she turns into a monster, which we see in the comic strip. Now, again, at one point, Whitney's like, I didn't draw this, so who's drawing this? I don't know. Were they leftover drawings from Colin from years earlier, 30 years ago? I don't know. It wasn't quite clear, or I missed it. I don't know. But anyway, we see, sometimes they don't show all of the horror that's happening, but we see the comic strip versions of the horror, so we know what's happening. We don't see the monster eating the victim in all the cases, but we see the comic strip version of the drawing of the monster eating the victim. So anyway, eventually she figures out that whatever I draw comes to life. So I'm going to draw these people back to life, the people who are dead. So she does that, and she also draws the monster tied up so it can't hurt anybody. So she brings everybody back, and it looks like everything's going to be fine. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, like everything gets burned. Like all the comic strips get burned. I don't know if it was an accident or what, but all of a sudden, like her friend Philip ends up dying in flames. The monster comes back and stalks her, and that's kind of how the movie ends. So it looks like she's about to be eaten by the monster that she tied up and drew to begin with. Whatever. Anyway, that's how the movie ends. So that's Cellar Dweller. Now, not a great horror film, but not a bad one. You know, it's a pretty quick film, hour and 17 minutes. I like that. You know, it went around smoothly. The monster was kind of, it was okay looking. It almost had like a claymation. No, it wasn't claymation, but it was clearly some special effects, but it wasn't the greatest special effects, but whatever. It's just a simple little 77-minute horror film. Just, you know, roll up on the couch and watch it. It's got a couple little nude scenes thrown in, a decapitation, a little bit of gore. Not a bad film. For what it was, it's fine. There you go. Now, I have this on this 4 all-night horror marathon volume 2. I also have volume 1. I believe this has been released on Blu-ray, though. Dungeon Master and Cellar Dweller on one, and then Catacombs and Contamination on another, I think. But anyway, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll leave a link to something down below if you're interested in, and just let me know what you think about Cellar Dweller if you've seen it. Check it out. Leave some comments. Watch it. It's Cellar Dweller. Bye.